Okay, welcome back to part 2. We've given the model enough time to dry now. I left mine overnight and it's hardened up quite nicely, so we're ready to go on to the next stage, and that is to get this nice grassy effect on the outside of the suit, and that's what we'll be focusing on this segment. So if you remember in the last video I'd mentioned that any excess cheesecloth you had to keep it over the one side, we're going to bring that back in now. And this is what we're going to use to make that grassy effect. As you can see, all I'm doing is pulling apart the cheesecloth into its individual strings. And we're going to need a decent amount of this string actually, so I'd spend a bit of time stockpiling some to one side. I'd even cut out maybe some larger pieces like that square in the background that I have. I'd do maybe 3 more pieces of that and just set it to start and pull them apart. We'll save you having to come back to it later on. And now I'm gonna just cut these down to size. I think what you should be looking for is about between 1 to 2 centimeter long strands for each of the strings. So I'm just gonna grab these and I'm going to start cutting them down to a smaller size. So I'll just grab my scissors and give it a cut. I always seem to struggle with these scissors. Either it's the scissors or it's me. It's probably me. Give it another cut. Yeah, it's definitely me. There we go. That'll do. So down about this size seems good. I'm going to grab this piece here too. Cut it down to a more manageable size. Well, that was a better cut. And same again. I'm just going to pull this apart. And I'm sure you're starting to get the idea. So what I think I'll do is I'll skip it forward a little bit and then we'll move on to the next part. And so I've grabbed myself a little pile here. And now we're going to get our PVA glue and we're going to begin to apply this to the model. And then grab yourself a brush, and what I've actually done here is you're going to see in a second, I'm not used to doing work while recording with the camera, and what I end up doing is doing this off camera. So I'm trying to focus so much on the model. I actually end up doing it a few times in this video I think, but let me wait until I bring it back onto the camera and then I'll explain what I'm doing. There we go. Finally realised. So what I've done is I firstly picked up some PVA glue with just a brush, applied it to the model, and then I've added a little bit more PVA glue to my brush, and I'm picking up a little clump of string at a time. I'm applying that to the model. Now I've got a little bit on and some PVA glue over the top. And what we're trying to achieve really is, if you don't want straight lines, you want to be kind of pushing this around with your brush and making it as messy as you can really. One of the things I think about really is when I come to the stage where I'm painting, we're going to be doing a bit of dry brushing. For dry brushing, you kind of want those layers, that level of dimensions, and that's what we're trying to achieve. So really try and make this as messy as possible. And I've went off camera again. I don't know what I was doing when I was recording this, but there we go, back on again. So yeah, I mean, it looks crazy right now. It doesn't really make any sense at all. But just trust in the process. Keep applying it, and use a lot of PVA glue. You know, you can't really use too much. And also, just take your time when you're doing this. There's no real rush because the dry time of PVA glue is going to be quite long anyway. So, you know, go slow and spend a bit of time focusing on each part you put on. So I'm just gonna forward it on here a little bit. The recording ended up being pretty long. It was like 45 minutes total. So as you can see, I've done most of the back now. So I'm focusing on the shoulders. And I think the mistake that I made doing this was that I didn't really stockpile enough of the string to the side, and I had to keep going back, I think, and grab more cheesecloth and put it apart. So definitely get enough of it before you start doing this. It will save you a lot of time. And yeah, I'm putting on quite a bit here actually. I think I tend to find that I put on quite a bit in one area and then apply a lot of PVA glue. Really try and push it around. Even leave some strings sticking up in the air. That will give like the effect of twigs and taller pieces of grass. Because the goal is to try and create as realistic a ghillie suit as we can. So here's steps that we've covered so far, and this is the steps that we'll be following in the video. So number one, you're going to apply the PVA glue to the area that you want to work on, and then secondly, use the brush. Even put the brush back into PVA glue just to make it sticky. Pick up some of the cheesecloth strands. Pick up a good amount of them too. There's not too little. Apply that back to the primed area. You prime with the glue, and then once you can get your brush back off again, sometimes it's a bit tricky, then reapply with plenty of PVA glue. You can't really go too much. You want to saturate the area so that it's a lot easier to move around. And then finally, use your brush to move everything around. Try to focus on creating as many different shapes as possible, like waves, and try to avoid too many up and down vertical lines or horizontal lines. So now I've finished the suit itself. Still got the barrel to do. Before I move on to that, I just want to go around the model and touch it all up with some PVA glue. It's going over some areas, any raised areas that you can see those strings poking up a bit high. I don't really want that, so I'm just going around the entire suit and leaving it at a point where I'm happy to let it dry. So finally onto the barrel, and same again, same process. Glue on first, pick up the cheesecloth and apply it on. I've kind of made a mistake here by applying on a little bit too much glue on too little cloth. It's made life a wee bit difficult for me here, so take that as a lesson learned for yourselves. Just build on it bit by bit in smaller amounts for the barrel, as it's a smaller area. And that's us. That's the build process completed. I'll just go over it again and touch it all up just until you're happy with it. Then we'll let this dry overnight, or until it's pretty much hard, but I usually like to do it overnight just to be safe. And then the next and final tutorial video will be the painting process and how to achieve that woodland camo effect on the suit. But that's it for this part. I hope it's been a helpful video. Hope it's been somewhat enjoyable also. If it has, give it a like. Even share it as well, that would be great. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.